Welcome on the pure wisdom, chosen ones. What I am about to tell will rock you. If you're here right now, realize that this isn't a coincidence. Something spectacular is happening in your life. Let them fling stones. They're merely laying the groundwork for the kingdom you'll sit on, while they drown in their own misery. You are sipping from the cup of destiny, and deep down, they know the crown was never intended for them. That is why they detest you. A budding star does not need permission to shine, and neither do you. Pay close attention. You are not picked to live an ordinary life. You are supposed to stand out, to ascend above. Make them uncomfortable. Just be yourself. Their envy burns hot because they can't touch what was meant to be yours. They may set any number of falsehoods, tricks, or traps. Every phony praise, backhanded comment, each effort to obstruct your way. Everything is being recorded by the cosmos. Karma never forgets who needs a lesson. They are not intimidated by your authority because you are loud or flamboyant. It scares them because you are unstoppable. You don't crumble under pressure every time they believe they've cornered you. You return even stronger. That level of resilience drives them mad. Your success is like pouring salt in their wounds, and each plan they devise just makes your successes sweeter. Let's be clear, you're not the villain in their narrative. They're the architects of their own demise. The more they strive to obstruct your blessings, the more difficult their own troubles become. Every ounce of energy they use attempting to pull you down just tightens the trap around them. Karma doesn't just punish, it delivers justice precisely. And when the time comes, it will not be silent. It'll be noisy. It will be undeniable. They believe their envy was a weapon, but it was really a curse. Think about it. Every time they spend loathing you is like swallowing poison and awaiting the worst. They're digging their own graves while you continue to ascend. This is what it means to be selected. You are a force. They cannot contain a light. They cannot dim. The more obsessed they get with you, the more they lose their way. Here is the irony. While they want you to fail, they're harming their own progress. Jealousy distorts their thoughts and keeps them bound in a cycle of bitterness, while you go on like an unstoppable force. That's what really drives them nuts. Your presence demonstrates that no assault against you will ever succeed. Deep down, they wish they were you. However, instead of learning from you, they chose to despise. Instead of expanding, they chose to remain in the shadows. That is the difference between you and them. You were picked. They're enslaved by their own jealousy. So let them chat. Let them plan. Allow them to distrust you. The cosmos is already working in your favor. Their demise is inevitable, not because you desire vengeance, but because of their own acts. Karma is a mirror. When they eventually dig into it, they won't like what they discover. Be steadfast, selected ones. Your brilliance is too bright to be subdued. Their jealousy is only fuel for the fire that will devour them. And you? Yes, you. The indomitable, unwavering, chosen one. Thank you for sticking firm, for following this route with strength and courage. Whether you've just begun or have been on this trip for years, your enthusiasm is what keeps this movement going. If you're ready to unleash your full potential and soar above the noise, show the world. Leave a 77 in the comments. Hit the like button and let's take what's coming our way. Now let's take this step by step. If you're genuinely selected, you will not turn away. You will feel it. You'll know this communication is intended for you. Stay with me. First, when someone digs a hole for the selected, they always fall twice as deep. The more they laugh, the harder they fall. Their plans are always reversible. But this time, the blow is considerably more severe than they imagined. Their envy will overwhelm them. Not because you fought back, but because karma never fails. Karma is patient. It never hurries its task. When they acted against you, whether via lies, manipulation, or sabotage, they unintentionally set themselves up for failure. Their lie was never intended to hurt you. It was always intended to turn against them. That is the power of being selected. The universe fights for you in ways people don't comprehend. Here's the irony. Karma doesn't merely expose their falsehoods. It puts them in plain view of everyone. The individuals who previously applauded for them now believe their remarks and laugh at you. They'll be watching when the truth is revealed. They'll see the mask slip. When that occurs, those same individuals will turn away from them. Nothing burns like a reputation withering under the weight of its own lies. You do not have to degrade yourself to their level. You don't have to play their games as they rush about attempting to obstruct your route. You are still soaring. Why? Because being chosen means being protected in ways they don't understand, while they spend their time attempting to tear you down. Karma is ensuring people fall into their own traps. Think about it like this. Their plans against you are like to sandcastles on the edge of the ocean and karma. Karma is the tide. The waves constantly sweep everything away, no matter how hard they try to cling on. It's not vengeance. It's just how the universe works. The energy they throw out always returns, and when it does, it arrives at the exact time. Maybe they're sitting there wondering why this isn't working. Why can't I have them taken down? The solution is simple. You are untouchable. Your spirit is designed for something better, something they can never grasp. Every effort to stop you strengthens you, while their jealousy drags them down. And here's how it gets even better. Karma loves an audience. It does not just balance the scales in private. It ensures that everyone sees the same individuals who questioned you, the same ones who scoffed at you. Watch the defeat of those who attempted to damage you. Their falsehoods will fail in front of everyone they attempted to deceive. That is what being picked entails. You don't just withstand their strikes. You prosper despite them, and their failure serves as a lesson for everyone who watches. Karma's justice is not peaceful. It is not subtle. It's loud, undeniable, and unavoidable. When their world comes apart, they will be unable to blame you. They will be compelled to admit that they were their own greatest enemy all along. And the greatest part? You never had to seek vengeance. You never had to descend to their level. You remained solid and focused on your course, while karma handled the rest. That is the power of being selected. You are not merely protected. You've been promoted. Every assault against you becomes another stepping stone in your quest. Every lie they uttered led to another, bringing them down. So let them watch. Let them sit there, frustrated, wondering why their ideas failed. Karma has ensured that their collapse is as loud as their jealousy was. Their sadness will reverberate much longer than their laughing did. And you'll still be standing and prospering, still picked, because ultimately their failure is karma's masterwork, and your triumph is the last stroke that completes it. Dear chosen ones, your affection drives us to produce meaningful material just for you. If our efforts have touched your heart, please express your appreciation by clicking the super thanks button on the YouTube screen. Your thoughtfulness means everything to us and keeps us going. Thank you for being the incredible support system you are. They begin to realize that your strength is more than a protective mechanism. It is a mirror of their own fears. The contrast between your unchanging dignity and their festering hatred becomes more apparent with each passing second, making their pain excruciating. The actual power of karma is in its seamless implementation. You're not required to react, seek revenge, or fall to their level. The cosmos takes care of everything for you, putting your strength and progress on full show while they are still locked in their own cycle of jealousy. They expected your failure, expecting you to react rashly, lose concentration, and break under their pressure. Instead, they are compelled to see your gradual development as you achieve much more than they could have anticipated. Your triumph is evident, founded on persistence, discipline, and self-respect, not deception or devastation. They're aware of this at their core. They may never confess it, but they experience it every time they fail. Every time they pass up an opportunity because they were too focused on your success rather than their own. Their envy was a shackle that bound them to mediocrity, whilst you continued to go ahead with purpose. That discovery is more than simply humbling. It is completely shattering. Karma does more than merely make people reflect. It causes them to face the terrible reality that their acts were not merely intended to damage you. They sabotage themselves. Every ounce of energy they used attempting to dull your light might have been utilized to improve their own circumstances. However, they're now left with just a heavy load of sorrow. Watching you succeed on the exact road they attempted to block is a hard truth they must now face. Respect is no longer an option for them. It is the only way ahead, not because they've suddenly changed their minds or become your staunchest supporters, but because they can no longer refute the effectiveness of your strategy. Your ability to rise above their techniques without participating in their pettiness teaches them a lesson they can't ignore. They gradually learn that their former arrogance was their biggest vulnerability. While your self-esteem become your most valuable asset, this triumph is beyond words. It's a quiet victory, proof that remaining loyal to your mission always works. For them, it is an agonizing reckoning, a severe reality check that challenges their whole sense of authority. Karma doesn't just humble them. It fundamentally changes their perspective, demonstrating that respect is not easily won. It is unavoidable, whether they like it or not. The truth will accompany them for the rest of their lives. Karma's clock is never rushed. It strikes when people are least expecting it. The slowest blade cuts the deepest, and karma uses it with accuracy. Unlike your opponents, who are desperate and ready to undermine you at any time, karma is patient. It waits, calculating the optimal moment to give its lesson, so that when it hits, the effect is permanent. That is the beauty of karma. It doesn't just restore equilibrium. It assures that their collapse is as stunning as their hubris was. The irony is almost poetry. They go through life feeling that they are winning, convincing oneself that their plots and manipulations went undetected. They take comfort in the erroneous belief that their deception has no repercussions, getting comfortable with their momentary success. But karma has been quietly laying the scene all along, enabling them to reach the pinnacle of their complacency before ripping the rug out from under them. And when it does happen, it is more than just an annoyance. It's complete disaster. The earth underneath them cracks, leaving them with nothing but the ruins of their own mistakes. Karma hits where it hurts the most, ensuring that the lesson is both lasting and intensely personal. Perhaps they miss a chance. They will never be able to restore a broken connection or rebuild the reputation they worked so hard to build. Whatever the outcome, it is expressly designed to drive people into self-reflection, to show them that every setback is a direct result of their own decisions. This is not about petty vengeance. Karma's goal is not to shame individuals, but to ensure that they fully realize the consequences of their acts. And this lesson is not delivered with a mere smack on the wrist. It cuts deep, leaving an impact that persists long after they take a step back and wonder, how did I get here? The explanation will always point back to their own actions, deception, resentment, and unwavering preoccupation with your destruction. And as others pick up the broken fragments of their stupid deeds, you continue to climb, untouched and unconcerned. Karma guarantees that the selected ones stay unharmed. Their brightness remains unshaken despite the darkness that others strive to pour upon them. The difference is evident as they sink into self-induced turmoil. You climb gracefully. They cannot afford the debt of jealousy. And karma is a relentless collector. They sign this contract in invisible ink, ignorant that when the time comes to pay, the expense would bankrupt them. Their jealousy was never a benign feeling. It was a gradual poison that ruined their lives from the inside out. When they allowed envy to devour them, they were not merely indulging in temporary bitterness. They were deliberately planning their own doom. In karma, it never forgets debts. The cost of jealousy is not simply high, it is insurmountable. They tell themselves that their animosity of you was reasonable and that their envy was something they could manage. However, envy is never passive. It infiltrates their minds, clouded their judgment, and destroys any chance of true pleasure. The most unfortunate thing is that the venom they projected against you never reached you. It rebounded, gaining power until it became a destructive force in their own lives. Every falsehood they circulated about you, every scheme they devised against you, every bitter word they spoke behind your back, it was like sowing seeds in their own garden. Instead of flowering with accomplishment, those seeds sprouted into an overgrowth of self-inflicted anguish. They felt they were working against you, but they were really undermining themselves. Their fixation with following your every move merely left them stationary, stuck in a never-ending loop of comparison and ignorant to their own abilities. And you stayed untouchable. Their chatter did not impede your progress. Their shadow did not dim the light. Every ounce of energy they used on resenting you just served to fuel your achievement. They unwittingly increased your resilience, accelerated your success, and secured your position even more. That is the significance of being selected. No external force can destroy what is meant to shine. Karma plays the long game. It does not haste to provide justice. It allows people to wallow in their sorrow, allowing their jealousy eat away at their tranquility, friendships, and self-esteem. Their jealousy turns into a prison. The cruelest thing is that they are the ones with the key, but they are too blind to perceive it. Every kind of malice. They aimed at you like another chain around themselves, strengthening with each second of anger they felt. By the time they understand what has occurred, it is too late. They are trapped in the rubble of their own handiwork, watching helplessly as you continue to thrive. When karma eventually accumulates, it does so cruelly. They did permanent harm on themselves. The bridges they destroyed in their pettiness cannot be repaired. They will never be able to make up the time they squandered due to envy. They believed they were undermining you, but in reality, they were ruining their own future. Meanwhile, every effort to knock you down merely acted as a stepping stone for you to climb higher. Their envy was like a storm threatening to shake you. However, it simply strengthened your roots. Karma has a way of transforming their animosity into the driving force that pulls you ahead. The same barriers they placed in your way served as a training ground for your perseverance. The falsehoods they disseminated simply increased your reach. The energy they used attempting to break you only fueled your ascent. And karma makes sure they see everything. There is no avoiding the lesson they must learn. They will keep a close eye on you, while every attempt to stop you fails catastrophically. They tried harder to bury you, but you flew higher instead. While others are dealing with the repercussions of their own destructive behavior, you stay untouchable. A living witness to the fact that no amount of jealousy, scheming, or ill purpose can derail someone who is meant for success. Karma always delivers, and the reverberations of its lesson are loud. Karma moves silently and precisely, with no effort from you. You do not have to raise a finger or seek vengeance. Karma performs the job for you, restoring equilibrium in the most beautiful manner. It does not depend on loud confrontations or spectacular scenes. Instead, it creates a web of repercussions so complex that those who intended to harm you get entangled in their own plans. The same traps they lay for you become the impediments that trip them up. They assumed they were in charge and had the upper hand. But karma is always one step ahead, plotting their doom with brutal efficiency. Their activities against you never went undetected. Every lie, manipulation, and act of jealousy was meticulously documented, leading up to the point when everything turned against them. And as others suffer in quiet, you climb higher than ever, untouchable and unconcerned. Karma does not need an audience. It does not seek acclaim or praise. It operates quietly yet efficiently, ensuring that everyone gets precisely what they deserve. Obsession is the gradual poison that your opponents knowingly drink, certain that their obsession on you gives them strength. But the fact is that the more they focus on you, the less they concentrate on themselves. Instead than focusing on their own achievement, they spend their time scrutinizing your every move and rooting for your demise. But while they obsess, you advance. While they stew in jealousy, you fuel their preoccupation, blinding them and trapping them in a never-ending cycle of anger and regret. They despise your achievements, unaware that their attention feeds your growth. The energy they use on bringing you down might have been utilized to help themselves, but instead it has become their burden, an anchor that holds them stationary till user karma kicks in. Ensure that their passion becomes their punishment. It does not require to interfere directly. Their own decisions created the conditions for their agony. They squander chances because they were too busy watching yours. They alienate others by their negativity, destroying connections and burning bridges. They get so focused on attempting to discredit you that they fail to see the holes in their own foundation. And by the time they understand what they've done to themselves, it's too late. You were never an issue. They were unable to concentrate on their own path. However, by the time they realize this, they have already fallen behind. Watching you prosper while they stay trapped in the same bitterness that has kept them back from the beginning. The more they attempt to darken your light, the more karma reveals their real character. Jealousy is a weakness disguised as power. Your opponents do not despise you because of what you own. They despise you for what they lack. Every effort to destroy you exposes their own vulnerabilities. They tell falsehoods to turn people against you. But karma guarantees that the truth is disclosed in the most humiliating manner. They disseminate rumors, but such rumors ultimately undermine their credibility. The harder they push against you, the farther they fall. They wanted you to fail, yet all they did was set the stage for their own destruction. Karma has a way of revealing the truth at the most inopportune moment for your opponents. The fractures in their well-built veneer become obvious. Their flaws were exposed for everyone to see. People who previously accepted their falsehoods begin to see through the performance, recognizing that the person they attempted to malign was never the monster. Their credibility falls, and they have only themselves to blame. Meanwhile, you continue to advance. Their plots, resentment, and frantic efforts to tear you down are all futile because you refuse to be influenced by their negativity. Every accomplishment you have is a quiet reminder to them of what they might have achieved if they had concentrated on their own development rather than worrying about you. But that is the beauty of karma. It compels them to face the reality that they have been avoiding all along. And once they see it, they can't get away from it. The arrows they launched never reached their intended target. Instead, they ricocheted back at them with brutal accuracy. That is karma's masterpiece, the backfire effect. They thought they were impenetrable and that their plots were immaculate. But karma was watching all along, waiting for the right time to turn the tables. They propagate misinformation and create chances. They attempted to take the doors. They attempted to shut in on you. Everything comes back to haunt them. They believe they have succeeded in making your life tough. However, they celebrate their imagined win. Karma throws its attack with stunning precision. Every move designed to hurt you just hastens their demise. They don't comprehend that by spewing hatred into the world, they're crafting the screenplay for their own demise. The doors they slammed shut on you have become the doors that will never open again for them. The trust they damaged with others serves as the basis for their own isolation. They believed they were engineering your downfall, but they were really setting themselves up for their own demise. The most brutal part, they never saw it coming. It's almost comical how they think they can avoid the repercussions of their conduct. But karma doesn't forget. It waits for the exact time when they're most confident and pompous. Then it hits with power. The actual penalty is not your vengeance. It's seeing you succeed despite all they attempted. Your accomplishment becomes the lesson people cannot forget. While they were knocking you down, you were building yourself up. And now they have no option but to see your ascension. Karma guarantees that they confront the truth of their decisions in the most unmistakable manner possible by making you the live evidence that their efforts were fruitless. You didn't need to fight back. You did not have to play their game. Nonetheless, you emerged victorious. This is the ultimate karmic lesson. Their jealousy did not ruin you. It merely revealed them. Their enmity did not impede your advancement. It only fueled it. The more they attempted to break you, the stronger you became. And now they are left with just the awareness that their demise was caused by their own actions, not by you. The same person they attempted to be has become the lesson they must learn from. However, it is too late for them to reverse direction. They spent too much time focused on the wrong things, and now they are stuck with the repercussions of their own actions. Karma's justice is clear and unmistakable. It does not need loud pronouncements or spectacular situations. It merely assures that every action generates an equal and opposite response. And while your opponents struggle to comprehend why everything is going apart for them, you continue to ascend unafraid and unstoppable. Let them watch. Let them ponder. Allow them to bear the consequences of their own actions. Karma has spoken, and the message is obvious. Those who want to hurt others will always be the builders of their own demise. Keep pushing ahead, keep shining, and let karma take care of the rest. So, my cherished chosen family, your affection drives us to produce meaningful material just for you. If our efforts have touched your heart, please express your appreciation by clicking the super thanks button on your YouTube screen. Every piece of compassion means the world to us and keeps us going. Thank you for being the incredible support system you are. We are eternally thankful for your love and encouragement. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and say farewell. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss my daily message videos. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.